Alright guys, what we're going to do on this particular video is get ready for the cross painting. Here I want to do something a little bit different. Here, instead of using a canvas, here I'm using a masonite board. Let me take this loose for right quick. Here's a masonite board. It's a 9x12. I got it from my local art supply store. It's a flat surface. I love painting on this, especially with the palette knife. Just kind of give you an idea of what else you can use besides a canvas. I painted on wood before, and I like painting on these on masonite boards. A lot of professional artists use these, believe it or not. Especially a lot of oil painters. They gesso it, of course, and then they paint on top of it. And then they put it in a nice frame. This piece right here, you can, once you finish the piece, your cross, say if you was doing it on a masonite board, you can put it in a frame if you want. But for this particular video, I just want to show you what else you can use to paint your cross or your church or your flowers onto a surface other than a canvas. So we're going to get started. As you can tell, it's brown. It's the color of the masonite board. So it's not gesso. So what I'm going to do is gesso it. But this time, instead of the gesso that I'm using is a acrylic base, Liquitex basic acrylic gesso. I'm going to add, since we've been doing our underpainting with gray, I'm going to add black to it to make it gray. So here I'm just going to pour out some gesso here on this board right here. Hope you guys can see it. Got a little white gesso here. And now I'm going to get some black. Just a little black here. You can't see me, I'm squeezing it out. And there's my black right there. So what I'm going to do is mix it up. I'm just going to mix it in with my gesso. As you can tell, when you add the black to the gesso, it's not as a light gray. It takes a while. What I should say is it takes a while to make it gray as opposed to if I was using white paint. So here, as you can tell, the gray is kind of dark. So I'm going to add a little bit more gesso just to lighten it up a little bit. If I would have used the same amount of white, it would have been a lot more lighter. So I'm going to add a little bit more gesso to it to make it a little bit more lighter. So that's a little bit better. I'm going to move my sponge brush around a little bit so I can get a nice clean shade of gray. And I'm going to gesso my masonite board. So here I have my acrylic paint mixed in with the gesso. And again, you know, the gesso helps hold the paint to the surface. That way the paint won't peel off the board. Get up on there. And that should be it. Let that dry about 20 minutes and then go ahead and get started on our cross painting. Alright, well, now that the paint has dried, what we're going to do now is actually draw the cross. And this time, for the cross, we're going to do a little bit different. You know, we usually see the square cross, you know, just going across like that. This time I'm going to do it a little different. I'm going to actually go kind of like a triangle almost. I'm going to go up here. I'm going to use, let me slow down, I'm going a little bit too fast. Here I'm going to use the center as my reference to kind of have the whole sides equal from top to bottom, left and right. So I'm going to, I think this is about my center right here. So I'm just going to put a dot right here. And I'm going to draw my cross kind of like a upside down triangle almost. So it's going to be going up. Like that, like that, kind of like that. From where I'm sitting, that looks about right. I'm gonna cross down a little bit more. And here I'm just using white paint to outline it. You can use a pencil if you feel more comfortable using a pencil. You can charcoal pencil or just a uh, paint like I'm doing. So whatever floats your boat. You kind of do a sketch. And here, after I draw everything, I'm going to work on my background. Still going to use the same color scheme. I'm going to use a light gray here. And I'm going to paint my cross kind of a white or beige. So we'll see. Alright, now that the cross is drawn, what I'm going to do now is add a light gray to my background. What you can do is get your white and your black. Get a little bit, mix it over here to the side. Add a little bit more black just to kind of darken up just a little bit. I don't want a nice light gray for this particular lesson. You can make yours darker, but for this particular one, I'm leave it up to you. Alright. I'm just going to go in, fill it in, let some of my gray show just a little bit. Oh, don't you just love the sound of that palette knife scraping against this hard surface? I know I do. We'll go across. I'm using the tip of my palette knife. You don't need to put a lot of paint on your palette knife. Just kind of glaze it just a little bit like that. If you go over your line, that's totally fine. We're not trying to go for perfection. This is not a realism painting. Ran out of gray, so I'm mix it up a little bit more. Hold it up to the camera so you guys can see. Kind of cover up too much of the dark gray background. That's okay. Get right on the edge of my cross. Just kind of go in like that. Bring this across here, here. And I'm just scraping up the paint right here like that. Trying to keep from making some more gray, but if I have to, I will. That should be it right here. What I'm going to do now is get this black, mix it in, make it a little bit darker gray. Tad bit darker. And I'm going to actually add some of this darker gray here. Just kind of give it a nice look and feel to it. So it won't be so flat. And I'm just going in a downward motion as I lay my paint on top of the light gray, the dark gray on the light gray. Now the dark gray is not very dark, just a little bit, it's one shade darker than the first layer of light gray. And that's about it. I like it. I really like that. That's good. Alright, now what I'm going to do is paint my cross. White to it. Just a hint of that gray, not much. I'm going to let some of this dark gray show in my background, not much, because I really want to capture the shape of the cross. side there. And that should be it with the cross. I'm letting some of that gray come in. Just a little bit, not much. And now I'm going to put in a little bit of a turquoise in. Not much. Got a little turquoise here. I just added. I'm just going to add just a little bit, not much. Here I got a little gray, excuse me, a little white turquoise here. I'm just going to kind of lightly glaze over this white here. I'm just going to do just a little bit on the side here. Alright, just a little bit, not much. Now what I'm going to do is outline the cross. And for this particular cross, I'm going to use a different color from all the other colors that I've used in the course. I'm going to use kind of like a gold color. I don't want to make that myself. You can use gold yourself, or you can kind of make it yourself. So here I'm going to kind of make a gold color, or something close to gold. And here what I have is cadmium yellow and red oxide, and I'm going to mix the two to make it kind of like a gold color here. So I'm going to get a little yellow, a little of that red oxide. Probably put too much red in there, red oxide, so let's use this up here. It's kind of an orangey, goldish, orangey yellow. I'm going to use that to kind of outline my cross. You can use whatever color you like for your outline. You can use a dark gray. I think a dark gray will look nice with this as well, instead of the gold. It's totally up to you. The main thing, you get used to painting with a palette knife, and also get used to painting the cross and flowers and churches and that kind of thing. So I'm just kind of lightly using the tip of my palette knife. Don't have a lot of paint on the tip of it either, just a little bit. If I run out, it's totally okay. It's okay for you too. Okay? I don't know why I want to do a circle here, but I just want to do a circle there. And that's pretty much it. I could add some turquoise in the background, maybe. Let me see how that looks. Just a little light, a little bit, not much. Just to kind of bring some unity with all the colors and stuff in the back. I'm using a downward motion, okay? And that should be it. If you have any questions, please feel free to email me, contact me. I would love to see your finished product of this painting. So just let me know, let me see, and I'd love to give you some feedback. Thanks.